زقا حرز خراوة زقا وشارة راح توبرتيس وبرقناق وزوبرق رجي حخوي درا ركشارك ويحخوي درا حبسنا أخذ بشاي ورجال بي أرينزجي وجه شاهد سافوك شف Георгий Бжания فرانسيسكو ريوسي ري Паларауи Цойт Фраунд.
Gentlemen, I'm considering this a legal punch on both boxers. I've given your instructions prior to this fight in your respective dressing rooms. Any questions from the blue corner? Any questions from the red corner? Clean fight. Watch the heads inside. Good luck to both of you.
Not a lot between the sizes of these two guys. As you take a look at the tail of the tape, the height's the same, the reach is the same. Bjania is a year younger, 21 to 22, and he's a pound and about a half heavier than is Francisco Rios. So not a lot of difference there. All right, we're set to go with our second fight of the evening. Bjania in the black trunks with the red shoes, facing you, and with they look white on your screen, but they're actually gold trunks, is Francisco Rios. So Bjania, all of that amateur experience. You know, the first thing I noticed with him, he doesn't look like the typical European or Russian type fighter, Benny, in that he stands straight up. He looks like he's got the, from all the international work that he has, more of a U.S. style of boxing.
Well, he trains in Los Angeles, so you know, he's over there facing a lot of Latin fighters, so he's learned to go ahead and attack the body and mix it up.
Eddie Gamachian is his manager, and he's got Manuel Robles working with him as a trainer, so they're training him like the American style, so he has the bend at the legs and he wants to throw power shots to the body. I don't like the way he lingers inside the kill zone without throwing. That's the only criticism I see so far, but power can offset that if he takes a pretty good shot.
But look at his feet, though. Very wide stance. On the part of Francisco Rios, here's a guy that absolutely no defense. His defense is throw punches. Come inside and try to get a knockout.
Well, that's the way he fights, and it's a Mexican style of fighting, and there's nothing wrong with it because that'll get you a few wins in your career. And the Mexican fighter that doesn't have all the experience, he's got about half the amount of amateur fights, but I tell you, the wars that these guys, even though he's from Sonora, Mexico, and Guatabampo, he spends considerable time training up in Tijuana, and those gym wars and the fights that they have in there get you ready to fight a guy like this. Every once in a while, Bjania makes mistakes. He squares his shoulders up, and then he goes with a shot downstairs. He exposes the left side of his face quite a bit, and all Rios has to do is try to get off that left shoulder, drop the right hand, but he throws his right hand so wide he hasn't been able to land it to Bjania's face yet.
Doesn't Bjania look like a combination of Robert De Niro and Rocky Marciano?
Yeah, not bad, Benny. In between the two, huh?
Yeah, right in between.
That'd be a good combination for a guy that could get a job after boxing, huh?
Yeah, in fact, I had a friend of mine. He described his girlfriend looking just like Christy Brinkley, only shorter and Korean.
Hey, look at this. Rios is causing all the problems he wants with Bjania. Bjania get clipped with a pretty good shot inside. Rios has got to watch the low blows, and Toby Gibson right on top of him, watching him very closely, too. See that way Bjania squares up the shoulders, though?
But he's waiting, though. He's waiting, and that's where he runs a risk. Because a guy like Francisco Rios, kind of a wild guy, the way he throws his shot. Now he switches to southpaw.
Yeah, he switches to southpaw, as Bjania said he might do that. That's not going to confuse Rios. He's seen too much of that stuff in the gyms in Tijuana, but he comes with a nice straight left hand down the middle, which is the power shot. Now he's back as an orthodox fighter, and he loads up the right hand, does Bjania. Of course, Bjania just sort of feeling him up because he doesn't know anything about Rios either. But we've seen a couple of small mistakes here, and the early going. Here's the bell. Number two, George Bjania from the Soviet Union, former Soviet Union, Russia anyway, and Francisco Rios from Huetabampo in Sonora, Mexico. And I gave it to the Mexican fighter in the first round. I thought he landed more punches, and Benny gave it to Bjania based on the heavier punches, I think.
Yeah, I went with a guy from Abkhazia, Russia.
The time he telegraphed that right hand, he sort of wound up with it, a little showboating aspect of it. With a Mexican fighter, I wouldn't suggest you showboat too much because these kids are too tough. And it doesn't make any difference what their records appear to be.
Yeah, and you're not going to psych them out either. They know what they're trying to do.
It's not like a Russian kid probably had it too easy growing up either, though. Nice kid. Benny and I had the opportunity to meet him. George Bjania, and we know Rios.
Yeah, but salsa has a tendency to make you tough, though.
Yes, it will.
That spicy salsa that the Colonel puts on his tacos in Mexico.
Now he's back fighting as a right-handed fighter. He switched just for a second as a southpaw and he got nailed. You know, sometimes it looks like he can't make up his mind which way he wants to go, and you don't want to get caught in the switch. See him going back and forth. Yeah. And what happens is he ends up spending a considerable amount of time with his shoulders squared where he can get hit, and Rios is the type of guy that can time that shot. And Bjania is trying to get some power shots in there, but he get caught in the switch again that time, fighting as a southpaw, and he doesn't have the accuracy when he's fighting as a southpaw. He wants to load up his left hand when he's a southpaw. Now he's back orthodox again.
And Rios is dangerous, very, very dangerous in the way that every time he throws a shot, I mean, he's got bad intentions with each shot he throws. Now, if he catches Bjania with one of those, it could be over.
Yeah, he's having a difficult time trying to catch it because Bjania's starting to move a little bit more. And he's Bjania giving him different looks, fighting as a southpaw. That one a little bit south of the border. Used the forearms to push him off that time. And he got away with it because Toby Gibson, the referee, was kind of around from behind and didn't quite see the forearm coming in the face of Rios. But this is a better round, in my opinion, for Bjania than the first round. Even though I don't like some of the things he's doing. I don't like all the switching, Benny. I don't think it's necessary. And it's certainly not confusing Rios.
And they're not power shots. When he does that, switches up, and he has his feet way wide. And Toby Gibson right there telling him, don't push.
24 seconds to go in the second round, and an interesting fight here. There he is switching again. Now he switches back. Too much of that stuff, and he's going to get caught in between. Rios tries to keep the pressure on him. He comes forward all the time, fighting as the orthodox fighter. And what happens again is Bjania gets caught with his shoulders squared up, and he starts to get hit. But he lands a right hand of his own. Here's Bjania trying to finish the round very strong. Closing seconds now of the second round, and a pretty good finish for the second round. Borderline low blows all the time.
Well, that's what you get for wearing all white pants, and you can't really distinguish the belt.
That's it. All right, this is round 3. I gave Bjania that second round. I gave Rios the first round. Benny, I think you've given both rounds to Bjania, have you?
Yes, I have.
All right, so we're a little bit separated on the score. I got it dead even. Benny has Bjania ahead. This is round 3.
Yeah, Rios is still a little bit too wide with those shots, and he hasn't been very accurate. He wants to load up on the shot, but just cannot find Bjania.
Bjania now gets off a little bit better, has a tendency to use that forearm to push him off. Toby already told him one time about pushing off, and now he switches to southpaw, now back to orthodox fighter. And Benny and I, if you listen to a Guilty Fight Night on a regular basis, you hear what we have to say about guys that switch a lot. But this guy does it by design. He does an awful lot of switching.
Yes, he does, and surprisingly, he's actually got pretty good leverage of those shots because he rolls to each side that he switches to. And now both of them now starting to get better timing on those shots. Rios now landing a couple good shots.
Yeah, he throws his a little bit too wide, as you said, though. Up at his toes, and now he chases down Bjania.
Boy, Rios looks like he is winded. I mean, he has got his mouth about as wide as he can open it without spitting out his mouthpiece.
He looks exhausted. I think he's taking too many headshots, and some of those borderline low blows haven't helped either. See how flat-footed he is and a little bit loose in the knees. Goes the wide shot. Bjania comes with the uppercuts, comes back outside, gets set. Kind of fakes like he's going to throw the right hand. The crowd gets on and they don't like the showboating. But he's able to land the shot, and that's so aggravating for a fighter who's fatigued like Francisco Rios, but he shouldn't be fatigued. We've seen him fight before, and he's always been in great condition, but I just think that his strength is being zapped because Bjania is landing so many shots right now.
Watch the head. And the part of Francisco Rios, he's never gone Well, actually he went 6th round. That's the one he lost to Pavel Miranda. So he's going to have to really start working on his condition.
Well, nothing's working for him right now against Bjania. Bjania comes with the uppercuts, feints to the right, now steps back to the left. Now trying to really make Rios look awkward by some of these windmill-type gestures that get the crowd's attention. Here he is showing his footwork, and then he attacks. He's filled with confidence right now, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely, because he knows, well, Francisco Rios tired, and he's not very accurate.
Rios isn't landing anything. All of a sudden, he's wilting very, very seriously here, and it's only the 3rd round. It's the bell coming up to end the 3rd. Him throwing these windmill motions, and the crowd kind of getting on him for it, but he's entertaining the crowd anyway.
And this crowd does not like it. You remember Ofalabi? Remember all the booing they did with him?
Yeah, they don't like hot dogging around in Las Vegas.
Especially here at the Gold Coast.
Well, the Gold Coast, or over the Orleans, it's the same crowd. There's about maybe 5,000 people, and some combination of about 2,000, 3,000 of those people come every week. They love the fights here. They're regular fight fans here in Las Vegas, and these fights are affordable. These more or less club fights where Guilty Boxing developing fighters are getting ready for World Championship drives and finding out which kids have the kind of ability. Right now, Bjania in the black trunks is having a field day with this guy. He's filled with confidence as Rios tries to put pressure on him. Just nothing successful getting through or hurting this guy.
Well, I've been impressed with Bjania's hand speed. That one sequence there for about a good 20, 30 seconds. I mean, he was throwing combinations, beautifully mixing up his shot, but with great, great speed.
Yeah, he's doing all right. He's got the good foot movement that goes with the hand speed, Benny, that just adds to him as a fighter. We're talking about Bjania, the kid, and that's about the 4th time that he's used that wing, and Toby Gibson, the referee, very experienced, right on top of that. He's not going to allow him to throw forearms at Rios. And he's done it several times, I mentioned, during the course of the fight. He likes to use that shoulder. The tough kid in there.
Well, he should stay as a right-handed, though.
Oh, I think so, too. I agree with you totally, Benny. Switching back and forth doesn't seem to do much.
It's so much like when he goes to a southpaw, he's Robert De Niro. When he stays as a right-hander, he's Rocky Marciano.
Yeah, he's a much better right-handed fighter than he is when he's fighting as a southpaw. And again, I pointed out on a couple of occasions that his tendency to want to switch in his mind causes him to square his shoulders up even when he doesn't switch. And now against Rios, he's getting away with it, but when he moves up in a little bit more quality opponent, mind you, he's only 21 years old, he's only in his 3rd professional fight, and we're talking about him like he's supposed to have everything, nailed right down as a professional fighter. So this kid's very young, he's a little on the raw side, but he has a lot of ability, and I think we'll see a lot more of George Bjania. I like what I see. I like the kid, I like his style of fighting. He looks to be a good one.
Well, I'd like to see Bjania spend a little time down there in Tijuana training with some of those type of fighters, because he'll really learn to attack the body. He looks like he could be good attacking the body.
Well, he needs to concentrate more on doing some of those real hard things like going to the body. Right now, he has a tendency to want to showboat a little bit. He likes to touch the guy up. A lot of that's from the extensive amateur career that he had. But there's a good body shot right there, Benny, but he didn't follow it up. We're in the closing seconds now of round number 4. Another good round for George Bjania. We go to round 5. George Bjania, the kid from Russia, decked out in the black trunks and in the gold trunks with his back to you. Francisco Rios. I gave Rios the 1st round. Everything else to Bjania. And Bjania's had it going his way. Here he is. He wants to load up his shot, sit down on his punches a little bit, and throw with power. But he's caught in his southpaw mode. He didn't have any power as a southpaw.
Keep him up here.
And he's hit the back of the head. Now Toby warns Rios about keeping him up.
Yeah, those punches a little bit low on the Bjania.
Bjania backs off on his heels, then he comes back in, closes the kill zone, throws punches. Hey, you see that? The way he squared up there, he went to throw his right hand, and he thought he wanted to switch again, and he got thrown a pity pat right hand instead of really committing to it. And you're right, Benny. If he just stayed as a right-handed fighter, orthodox, he'd be so much more effective, I believe.
Yeah, Bjania just has to loosen up. Just let it go. Let it happen. And that's what he's got to do, because these knockouts you can't force. You got to just let them happen.
He waits, he's squared up again, he invites the guy in. Rios misses, he comes with the uppercut, bangs the head back of Rios. Rios comes forward again. Bjania switching around, fighting as a southpaw. He winds up with the left hand. And look at this. Rios says, you're going to start fooling around like that. I'm going to start throwing some shots at you too. I'll wind up some shots.
Well, but then Rios just has to do something here. You know, land some of those shots. He's throwing those big bombs, but he's just not very accurate. Look at his balance. He has awful balance.
Well, I think part of that is fatigue, and either that or lack of conditioning, Benny, because in the third round he's beginning to show, a little bit of elasticity in the knees, and that's not good. When he's very awkward right now. His legs don't have a lot of balance. He's getting his feet almost ahead of him sometimes. He's getting squared up, loads up that shot that doesn't hit pay dirt, so to say, on the chin of Bjania. Bjania just pot-shotting right now. And he's playing with the guy. He's toying with him.
Well, Bjania's just so accurate. Very accurate. Every shot that he throws.
He's accurate, Benny, when he's a right-hander.
Yeah.
As a southpaw, he isn't.
But remember, I told you, Rios has no defense whatsoever. He just wants to land shots, and here they come now.
Rios is going to pick up the pace now. I mean, he's going to just put a stop to this guy showboating and making him look bad. And Bjania's just like a kid that's just having a field day out there right now. He winds up, every time he winds up with the right hand, he throws the left hook. Somebody did that to me. You know what they do? Just grab him, throw him down to the canvas. Take my 1 point penalty.
Oh, one elbow.
Yeah. You get the foul. I hit him with a forearm in the cheek. Anything. I know that that's legal and it doesn't sound good, but prize fighting is a tough racket. Very, very tough. And I wouldn't want to be shown up by Bjania. It would be very frustrating to me. The bell ends the fifth. Now another good round for Bjania. Whether you like hot dogging it or not, Bjania landed the punches in the fifth round.
And Rio just has to try to find the second win some way, somehow here to come out.
Well, on my score sheet, he would have to score a knockout to win now, so. The only round I gave him in the entire fight was the first round, and you, as a matter of fact, gave that round to Bjania, so it's not a close fight whatsoever.
Bjania is just very hard to reach. I mean, he's very, very slick at staying out of the area where Rios is going to hit him. And here we go.
Watch the quickness on his feet and how awkward he can make the guy look.
Bjania is just taunting Rios, and then look at the angles in those shots. Bjania appears loose now, just letting him go from different angles.
Yeah, I mean, he's just filled with confidence. Look at that.
That was a fake pull-up.
Yeah, that was Prince Nassim Hamed shots. All right, we're set to go back with our live shot. It's the sixth and final round from the Nevada Ballroom. You're watching Guilty Fight Night as my scorecard, and Benny has it even 1 point further apart than that. So as you can see, Bjania comfortably out in front of this fight and can cruise to victory. But Rios needs to knock him down. One of those borderline low blows by Bjania, but he gets away with it.
But Rio now just has to act like a desperate man. Just start throwing bombs from all different areas trying to reach Bjania.
But he doesn't have that malice in his eyes right now. He has more of a survival look. In my experience, tells me he just wants to get through this round rather than really try to hurt this guy. And in the meantime, Bjania's hitting him with some tough left hooks. But Bjania has so much power when he fights the right-handed fighter.
Yeah. And Bjania's right there in front of Batista. He's very, very good at those side-to-side movements that frustrates Rios. And Rios, that's the other thing. When a fighter misses very badly, like Rios has done on numerous occasions, that really takes the energy out of the fighter.
Well, Bjania's showing his hand speed. There he is showing his foot speed. Has a tendency to want to hot dog it a little bit, but he's in total command in this fight, and he's trying to frustrate Francisco Rios. He didn't have to bother about frustrating him. Believe me, he's frustrated. Bjania just throwing caution to the wind. He's not afraid about getting hit because he knows that Rios doesn't have much power left in him right now because he's fatigued. As the double hook, once downstairs, one back upstairs. Touches him up with right-handed jab. Stays right-handed, but he wants to go back to a southpaw, so he gets caught squared up. When he gets caught squared up, Benny, he lacks the power again.
And that's the Rios. You just take advantage of that, but those shots are just so wide.
No, Rios is like a guy that's just coasting towards the end of the fight.
And those body shots are hurting Rios.
They got to be hurting him because Bjania is really putting a lot of power. He's sitting down on the punches. If he would stay right-handed, and I don't want to be labored. Yeah, I do want to be labored because he doesn't belong fighting as a southpaw. He's a real good fighter as a right-handed fighter. He doesn't need to be, well, he doesn't need to hot dog, and he doesn't need to really be switching back and forth. There's no confusion factor. It saps his power. He lacks accuracy, and his defense isn't any good when he's a southpaw either. So there's no advantages to it, Benny, that I can see.
Not at all. And you see now, Rios, those elbows are practically locked to his belt, trying to protect himself from those body shots.
He opened up that time trying to catch Bjania coming in, but Bjania has this no respect for anything that Rios is doing now. The very closing seconds of the fight now, Bjania knows that he wants to finish strong, and he's loading up shots, power shots upstairs to the head, goes back to hot dogging. I wish you wouldn't do that because other than his hot dogging, I really like what I see from this kid.
Yeah, but you were not going to catch this Bjania unprepared. He was very well prepared, always seemed to be ready for any shots that Rios happened to throw his way. Very, very well schooled, very slick fighter. But again, some of those tendencies, and you wonder what gets in the mind of a fighter to want to do that, because it's very obvious to us, it must be to him, that it wasn't working as a southpaw.
All right, here we go with round one, Benny.
Well, right off the bat, it looked like for a while like Rios was going to have his way, but no. Bjania loosening up and finally backing up Rios and then throwing shots from all different angles, and that's the thing that was very effective. Shots from different angles, but then every once in a while would switch to a southpaw, and all of a sudden became ineffective. But Rios, with those wide looping punches, was not able to capitalize on Bjania's inability to go ahead and stay as focused to stay as a right-handed fighter. And I think, Bjania, I got him pitching a shutout, so.
And I got it 59-55, so there's my scorecard right there. Bjania 59-55 for Rios, and Benny has it a perfect shutout, 60-54. All right, let's make it official. Here's our ring announcer, Joe Martinez.